Merry Christmas! Welcome.
Bah humbug.
You can't say bah humbug when you're wearing sequin antlers. It doesn't work.
Does it look like I had a choice to wear these sequin antlers? Sequin? Yeah, that.
How's everybody doing on YouTube? I hope that you are having an awesome Christmas season. I know you're all getting ready for the big day, Christmas. Thomas, what have you done for Christmas shopping this year?
Tons. Amazon and another store that I can't say right now because it might give away a present.
Thomas shops for one person. Me.
Yeah.
I shop for him, all the kids, anybody else in our life that we're going to give gifts to. But Thomas does one person. But that's the most important thing. And he does well. He's a very good gift giver. What is wrong with you?
Bah humbug.
Oh, whatever. You're such a nerd. Thomas loves Christmas.
It's the last episode before Christmas. Can you believe it?
I can believe it.
It is right here. I feel like my heart just grew like 10 sizes this day.
I hope it did. That would be nice. Yeah. But we're ready. We're ready to go. We don't even have like that crazy stressed feeling, I feel like.
No, we've got a big day Sunday. It's Christmas Eve, and so we've got a regular church service in the morning, and then we got our big outdoor candlelight service. Mm-hmm.
But even that, we're ready for it. We have an amazing team.
Yep.
So we don't have to do everything. So it feels very like, it feels nice.
And I'm looking forward to the day after Christmas because we're going up to spend some time with our friends in North Carolina for a couple days.
Yeah, it'll be nice.
Getting away and doing nothing.
We're praying for snow for our kids.
No, I'm not. I'm not praying for snow.
Not even for your children?
No, I don't want snow.
Well, I'm praying for snow for them.
So we'll see.
I love them more than you do.
I think he loves me more than you.
Well, we'll find out.
Yes, we will. So you've got a couple days left to get your Christmas stuff in order. So stop what you're doing right now. I mean, finish watching the episode, then stop what you're doing, and then go get your Christmas shopping done. Or do Amazon while you watch.
Man, we live in a really awesome time in our lives. Like, this is fantastic.
But it's getting crunch time where if you want it before Christmas, you've got to order now.
That is true. Yeah. Amazon is only going to work to a point.
So
you could still be that person shopping at a gas station Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I was going to say, some of you guys out there, she don't want that.
She don't want toilet seat covers. Toilet seat covers!
She does not want a little car air freshener that smells like pine. Or fake pine.
No. So go shopping.
Yeah, get out there and do it.
All right, babe, let's get this episode going. It's our Christmas episode.
All right. Gather round, everybody. It's time for a family meeting. The Family Meeting is a show that's all about family relationships. It's the Christmas season, and we're the Osterkamps. I'm Dasher, and this is my co-host, Rudolph.
Hello, and welcome to our family.
Or is she Dancer? Or Prancer?
You gotta not go off script. I get insane.
I'm trying to think of other... Dasher and Dancer and Prancer. Oh, Vixen. You could be Vixen for sure. All right, show him Vixen. Vixen's more like... That's Vixen.
Oh my gosh. I hope nobody watches YouTube.
Okay. Somebody watching. Welcome for that.
Want me to start over? Welcome to episode 169 of the Family Meeting Podcast.
Merry Christmas!
It's almost Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho!
And we're excited. Yes.
Last episode before Christmas.
That's right. On today's episode, we're going to talk about...
Christmas!
Could you believe it? But we want to talk about keeping your family's focus on the true reason for the season and allowing that true reason for the season to affect our family relationships and the way we behave. And I am excited about this episode. Christmas is like my favorite season.
And you can't see this if you're just listening to the audio, but we have our antlers on for all of our people watching on YouTube. to see how festive we are and excited for
Yep.
Christmas.
I've got my elf shirt on. It says smiling's my favorite because smiling is my favorite.
And I've got my Christmas green colored shirt on.
So we started this morning already with a fight. Do you
Yeah.
guys ever have those mornings where you're like, man, we've only been conscious for a little while and we're already fighting? That was us today.
Yeah.
Because I told Thomas, I was like, we're going to wear Christmas stuff because it's our Christmas episode and YouTube can see us. So we got to wear Christmas stuff. And he comes downstairs with a sage green t-shirt on.
It's like army green.
And I have a Kelly green, elf shirt.
Mine's the same color as a Christmas tree, though.
Yeah, but mine is like Christmas green.
Yeah,
This
but I'm
is-
Christmas tree green.
This is Christmas green. So he has ruined everything and we had a big fight about it. And guess who won?
I did.
Thomas won. Because it really didn't matter, but we were kind of messing around.
But before Christmas gets here, I'm excited for just what we have going on this week. Obviously, we're recording the podcast, but also the next couple of days, we're going to be recording a course for Happily Never After.
I'm so excited about this.
So it'll be something that you can sit down and do as a couple and go through this course and answer some questions, have some discussion. You could go through it as a small group. Maybe you have, a marriage and family small group, connection group, and you want to take them through that. So it'll be a great way to have some great conversations, work on your marriage, work on your relationship. And we will have some more information as we skip over into 2024 about how you can get your hands on that. So it's going to be a very busy week family meeting wise, even as we get ready for Christmas around here.
All right, let's talk Christmas. Christmas is a beautiful season. In fact, it is my favorite time of the year. And I think I've already shared why. I think I shared last week why Christmas is my favorite time of the year. It's because even people who don't believe in Jesus, even the secular world, is all about kindness and joy at this season. And typically when you run into strangers on the street, even in traffic and stuff, even,
Yeah.
there's like this little bit of consideration and joy and friendliness.
People seem to be a lot kinder this time of year.
Yeah, and I love that. And I just really want to dive into that at Christmas and just enjoy it. I don't want to think about the fact that other times of the year, it's not like this. I try to just really enjoy the moment and this season of Christmas. So that's one of the reasons it's my favorite time of year. It's not your favorite holiday. Your favorite holiday is Thanksgiving.
Yes. But I enjoy this whole season.
Yeah, and I think the other thing I like about Christmas is many holidays are like one day. Christmas is a month. It is a season.
2 months.
2 months?
Yeah.
No, it's 1 month.
After Halloween until the end of December.
Stop it. Okay, yeah, we can't even. You're not allowed to talk anymore. No talking. Thank you. Christmas is a season. It is 1 month, and it's lovely. So we love Christmas, and so we want to talk about it. But here's the problem. It can also be very stressful, and I know that you know this. It is the busiest season of the year. I mean, I think that all of us can agree it is the busiest season. May gets pretty busy with graduations and Mother's Days and like end of school and all of that, but nothing comes close to how busy Christmas is. And you and your family can get lost in the Christmas shuffle.
And we just made a post about this on the family meeting just the other day to make sure that you are taking time for what's really important during this super busy season. We get caught up in all the programs and the shopping and all the stuff. And sometimes we miss out on those special moments that we can have with our families, those memories that can be made. It is so sad to think that most of our time and energy and money around Christmas time is spent on things that our kids really won't remember all that much.
Right.
But they are going to remember those times that we stopped just to spend time with them.
Absolutely.
And some of those great traditions. So
That's right. But before we can really dig into this discussion, you and your spouse need to know and understand what's truly important to you about Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay. So your spouse needs to know what's important to you about Christmas. You need to know what's important to them about Christmas. And you really need to talk about that. And as you talk about it, one thing you may discover is that there are things that you've been doing, investing your time in, that you realize neither of us even want to do that.
yeah.
Neither of us care about this, or the kids hate this. Why are we still doing this? So really talk about what's important to you about Christmas. Now, for us, for Thomas and I, the most important aspects of the Christmas season are the celebration of Jesus' birth, and all kind of the aspects around Jesus' birth and who he is. That's really why we celebrate Christmas. We are Christians. We love Jesus. We are followers of Jesus. And this is our season to celebrate Jesus' birth. Now, for those theologians out there, we understand Jesus was not born at Christmas time.
Right,
but it's when we celebrate. Okay, so we're celebrating the birth of Jesus at this time. And we enjoy that. And there are a lot of things about Jesus that tie into how we behave and what we do at Christmas time. And those are the kinds of things that we're going to talk about today.
So every aspect of Christmas that is important to us stems from Jesus and his coming. Mm-hmm. And from there, it's all about the principles we see modeled from Jesus, such as being generous, caring about those in need and meeting those needs, sharing the truth of the gospel with others, blessing family, friends, and neighbors with kindness. And these are just a few of the most important aspects of the Christmas season for us.
Yeah. So go ahead. Have that conversation with your spouse about the most important aspects of Christmas to you both. And maybe also discuss the things that really are not important, the things that you want to stop.
Well, and I'm just thinking about family traditions, right? Mm-hmm. Family traditions are great as long as they fit into what you're trying to do and focus on as a family. Like, just to do something because it is a family tradition is not a great reason to keep that tradition alive. And so if there are things that are pulling you away from what's most important because your family's always done it that way, it may be time to reevaluate.
Right.
And I remember doing this as a pastor, is one of the things about leading an established church is they have all these different traditions and things that they do all the time. And I just remember like being busy almost every night of the week around December. It was like, we were so rushed. We didn't have time to enjoy family. Our church people were exhausted. And it was like, okay, we've got to start to cut out some of these things that really aren't helping us, first of all, as a congregation, but also helping our church families be able to recognize and celebrate what's truly important.
That's right. We have to give people time for their own family too. Another tradition, like I'll give you an example from our past. We had a family tradition where we would spend the night. I don't even know if you remember this. It feels like so long ago now. We're talking like 18 years ago maybe 19, when our daughters were babies. We would spend the night at your mom's house, Christmas Eve. So we would spend all of Christmas Eve at your mom's house, spend the night, wake up to presents in the morning, do breakfast, spend all day on Christmas at your mom's house, and then have Christmas dinner in the evening.
Yeah.
And it was really nice. Like, I enjoyed it.
The sleep was horrible.
Yeah, there was no sleep. But it was a wonderful time. Like, we enjoyed it. However, once our kids were like 4 and 5, all of a sudden we realized we don't have any Christmas traditions with just
the 6 of us.
The 6 of us.
Well, it wouldn't have been 6 at that point, but yeah.
Well, yeah, coming up on.
Yeah.
I would have been pregnant. And so we decided you were going to tell your mom we're not sleeping there at Christmas Eve, and we'll come on Christmas morning at like 10. So we were going to have from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Well, more like 7.
Earlier,
the kids get
up early.
So like from 7 to 10 was going to be our family Christmas, and then we'd come to her house. And that was a hard precedent to set.
It was.
I think it hurt your mom's feelings.
It was a difficult conversation to have, but it was something that was necessary for us to establish some of our own personal traditions, focus in on our own 6 of us family. And so that's part of the evaluating, like what is working for our family, what isn't working for our family, what can we maybe shift around. Mm-hmm. And we still did all the stuff with my extended family, but we just kind of pushed it around a little bit. And let's be honest, the older you get as an adult, the less you want to get up 6 o'clock in the morning and run downstairs. So we weren't like getting up early even then to open up presents right away. Mm-hmm. So,
but it still was a very difficult conversation to have with your mom, because I know that it hurt her and your sister. It was hard for your sister.
Yeah.
It was hard for everybody because we were the family that changed the tradition.
Yeah.
And that is a really hard thing to do. But sometimes as you reevaluate, those things need to be done. I'll give one more example. There was a time that we did Christmas presents as adults with my family.
Yeah.
So my brother and sister and their spouses and us would exchange gifts. We would exchange gifts with my parents, and then of course
Mostly gift cards at that point.
that's what it came to. Is in the end, once finally time progresses and you realize everybody just wants to go shopping for their own gift, pretty soon all it was exchanging a bunch of gift cards.
Yeah.
And we're all like, why are we doing this?
Exactly.
Why are we even doing this? So we stopped. We stopped exchanging gift cards, and we went to an experience where we would take all the kids, we would take the money from what we would spend on gifts, and we would go to a water park, take the kids swimming in the winter, which was fantastic in the Midwest, getting them to have that energy and go swimming and have a great time. So that was another tradition that we reevaluated and changed. So let's talk about focusing on aspects of Jesus' character, because like we said, the most important thing to us at Christmas is the fact that Jesus came. I mean, you see it on signs all over the place. Jesus is the reason for the season.
Yeah.
But if you really mean that, then we need to start focusing on the aspects of Jesus' character and allow that to change how we do the Christmas season, not just the Christmas day, but the Christmas season.
And that's really the key to it all. We're not changing traditions just to change traditions. Mm-hmm. We're changing traditions to help us be able to focus better on what's truly important and the things that we truly value, whatever that is. So for us, we've got a couple things, and we're focusing in on Jesus today. So he is the most important thing to us.
Yeah.
And there's the most important part of the season. Our immediate family is then the next most important thing to us. And then we move extended family and friends out from there. So if we're going to change a tradition or rearrange some things, we want to do it in such a way that it helps us to prioritize the things that are important to us. And so you have to do those evaluations. What is truly important to me? Not just what I say is important.
Yeah.
But because what we spend our time on, what we spend our money on, those are the things that are truly important to us. So let's see if what we're doing backs up what we say is important. And if not, let's make some changes so that what's important is getting our time, our money, our energy.
Okay, so if we say Jesus is the most important reason for the season, then let's talk about him. Who was he? How was he like? And how should that affect the way we treat our family members and how we behave at Christmas? All right, the first thing we're going to look at, the first aspect of Jesus' character, is that he was kind and gentle to his disciples in the midst of multitudes hounding him, begging him, wanting something from him. So most of Jesus' ministry was spent with people chasing him down, trying to see something. They wanted a miracle. They wanted him to turn loaves and fishes into baskets and baskets of loaves and fishes, and they wanted him to feed them. They wanted him to heal themselves or their friends and family. They wanted something from Jesus. And even in the midst of those seasons of busyness for Jesus, he took time for those closest to him. And at that point in his life, it was his disciples, those 12 followers that were very close to him. He spent even more time and alone time with 3 of his closest disciples, Peter, James, and John. And then he had one disciple who was very, very, very close to him, and that was John. And so we see that he took time to make time for the most important people in his life. And we want to encourage you to make time for your family, but not only make time, but think about how you're treating them in that time. Okay? Because think of how Jesus treated his disciples. That's how we're supposed to treat one another. He exemplified love and kindness. So first thing we want you to think about is your spouse. How are you treating your spouse this season? Because you're busy. You are busy, and you are frustrated sometimes, and sometimes you snap at them. I mean, this happened to us Sunday morning, where we're talking about food and the meals and all the stuff, and all of a sudden, it's no longer joking and banter. Now all of a sudden we've moved into what are you trying to say? And so we need to be thinking, how did Jesus respond in the midst of his busy season? How did he respond when he was being pulled in every different direction? Because we need to be treating those closest to us, first of all, our spouse, with love and respect. And then our children then it goes on from there. Our children, how are we treating them in this busy season when we are pulled in every direction? And you can move out from them. But we need to look at Jesus as our perfect example.
Well, and we've talked about, and you hit on kind of stepping away from all the multitudes, which is something we have to focus in on and really be intentional about. Working with people. This is our busiest time of the year. Like I don't travel and miss Christmas as a pastor, because it's the busiest time of the year for us, being able to reach out and minister to people. But in the midst of that, we have to be intentional about, first of all, having some family time. And we have certain things that we do with just our family. We like to go around and look at the Christmas lights, and that's a tradition that we have to focus in. I need to make sure that we're spending time as a couple, like just the two of us as well. But something that I think about of what our Savior did that sometimes gets overlooked this time of year is, in the busiest seasons of Jesus' life, he took time apart to just spend time working on his spiritual relationship with God as well.
Yeah.
And so we can't overlook that devotional time, that time where we're spend alone praying, spend time alone getting into the Word of God. And there's a lot going on. You've got a lot of pressures on you, a lot of things that have to be done. But let's not skip out on the most important things. Once again, if we think and we say that Jesus is the reason for it all, then we need to make sure that shows up in the way that we're giving our time to him, and stepping away from the multitudes of the busyness and all the stuff to spend time with him. We can't say we prioritize Jesus if we're going to the work party, but I'm not spending time alone with him. Like, we can't say that's a priority for us. And so you kind of just brushed by that getting away and getting alone that Jesus did, and spending time with just those people. And I just want to kind of focus in on that as well. Let's not forget the most important relationship. And we've talked about that a couple of episodes ago. But you're right. It is important for us to think about the way that we're treating people, because he was kind and generous, or kind and gentle. And so we need to have a little bit of that. There's something about the busyness that we get stressed, and that really can change the way we treat the people who are closest to us.
Right. Okay, here's one. This is this is like getting way too close to home for me. Okay, listen to this. You think about the Christmas season and all of the Christmas treats and the Christmas goodies and the special meals and the special parties and the puppy chow and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And we want to become gluttonous, and we want to just stuff ourselves with everything. But here's what we can remember about Jesus.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Because you said something, I know what puppy chow is, but we've got people literally listening all across the world that hear the word puppy chow, and they're like, are you talking about eating dog food? So explain what puppy chow is for some that may not have ever heard that before.
I'm trying to remember. Somebody else calls it something with the word mud in it. Is it Mississippi mud or something?
No, it's a cake.
Oh, there's something that I can't remember what the other name for puppy chow. Help us out, people. If you know the other name for puppy chow, like, put it in our comments so that we can, get this down. For those of you who don't know, it's like, it has Chex cereal and pretzels, I think, peanuts maybe even. I don't know. I've never actually made puppy chow. Would you believe that? Because you don't really like it, so I've never made it. But then I think that you put like melted chocolate over all of it, and then powdered sugar, and shake it up.
Yeah.
And so that the powdered sugar like sticks to the chocolate, sticks to the cereal, and then you eat it. It's kind of a salty, sweet, crunchy. It's very good. I like it, but you don't.
It's kind of like a Christmas trail mix. It's okay. It's not my favorite.
Yeah.
Like, if it's around, I would have some. But so for you, those of you out there thinking dog food, why would we eat dog food for Christmas?
Only at Christmas.
Exactly.
But yeah, there's all these like delicacies, these delicious, yummy kind of comfort food and comfort treats. And we can really try to stuff ourselves and just indulge in this stuff. And Jesus said, I am the bread of life. He is the one who satisfies. He is all we need. And sometimes we're trying to satisfy ourselves with all these yummy things when really we really need to focus on Jesus and who he is.
I will say this. I'm very thankful that he didn't say I'm the fruitcake of life.
Fruitcake. Ugh.
Nobody wants that.
I wonder, is fruitcake a tradition in other countries too? I think it started in Europe.
I have no idea.
But fruitcake is horrible. I've never had a good fruitcake. Love you people who have made me fruitcake. I'm sorry.
Here's what I'm curious about is, does anyone actually like it?
There are people who like it. Or is it
just one of those traditions where it's like, this is what you do at Christmas time, and we just kind of tolerate it?
I have heard people, I cannot remember who it was, but I've heard someone say like, oh, you just haven't had a good fruitcake.
Okay, so if you like fruitcake, let us know. And it's not just let me know you like fruitcake. If you've got a recipe and you're like, this is a really good way to make fruitcake, I would be interested in trying it. So far, I'm not a fan of fruitcake. So I'm very thankful that he didn't say, I'm the fruitcake of life, come to me.
No, because nobody wants that.
Plenty of Christians are fruitcake instead of bread of life. So we don't need any of that.
Yes, Jesus is the bread of life, and he is the one who satisfies. So as you are exhausted at the end of your day of shopping and wrapping gifts and grocery shopping for all the food you need for your family for Christmas, and you want to just climb into bed with the treats and the junk food and satisfy your weary soul, try not to do that. Try rather to satisfy with Jesus, the bread of life.
Well, I was talking about this with our men's leadership group last night, and we were just talking about the fact that when we're so busy, the tendency is just to grab the easy garbage food.
Oh yeah.
Stop by the fast food place and whatever else, and all the easiest, quickest stuff to make seems to be like so unhealthy for you. Mm-hmm. And so planning ahead of time for how to eat right and healthy in a busy season, that could be a whole episode in and of itself.
Yes, it could.
One of the things we think about Jesus going along this same line, talking about being the bread of life, is we see Jesus' generosity.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, in the way that he interacted with people. But the greatest gift that he gave, and this is what I'm going to focus in on for our Christmas Eve service out in town center, is the fact that he gave himself for us. Mm-hmm. God so loved the world that he gave his only son. And Jesus said this in John 15, hey, greater love has no one than this, that a man lays down his life for his friends. And you think about generosity at this time. And Christmas can often be about, what can I get?
Oh, yeah.
And we think it's all about a materialistic getting things. Mm-hmm. And this person got me a gift, so I've got to get them an even better gift. And it's not really anything to do with generosity. It's, I got to make sure that I'm perceived in a certain way or whatever else. And so it becomes about us.
Well, and we literally train our children from the teeny tiniest age that Christmas is about what you can get. We let them make Christmas lists.
Yeah.
They go and sit on a strange old man's lap and ask for presents and ask for the thing that they want. And it's always the most like crazy nutto over the top gift.
It just cracks me up because we spend their lives warning them about stranger danger, don't sit on people's laps. And then here we are every December forcing them to sit on this old stranger's lap.
These little children who are like screaming and crying. And the mom is like, no, stay there. Stay on his lap.
Gotta get my Santa picture.
It's an interesting tradition.
Yes.
But yeah, like we are really truly training our children who then grow up to be teenagers and adults that Christmas is what you want. It's about what you want. Like, what do you want? Write it down. What do you want? We're going to mail it to Santa. What do you want? We're going to go tell the mall shopping Santa. It's all about what we want.
Yeah. But at some point we have to learn it is more better to give than to receive.
Amen.
And I even think about that now. And you think about being a kid and how special it was, and literally just yesterday I saw an old ad from Toys R Us that had a Sega Genesis in it, and like a Game Boy and a Nintendo system. And I was just thinking about, as a kid, unwrapping some of those gifts that you really wanted and how exciting and how special it was. But really now I look at being an adult, and I'm more excited about watching my kids unwrap their gift and those sorts of things. And so that is a special moment, being able to see that.
I asked Isabella the other day, it was just her and I, she's our 16-year-old daughter, daughter number 2. And I said to her, so are you excited for Christmas? She's like, yeah. I said, what is the thing that you are most excited about Christmas? And she said, watching everybody open up the gifts I got for them. And I'm like, that's so beautiful, because it's not, she's not excited to open her own gifts. She's excited to watch people open the gifts that she really, she agonized over what to get everybody and really, truly thought about it. And she mowed lawns this summer in preparation to have enough money to buy the gifts that she wanted, because she wanted to get quality gifts.
Yeah.
And so she wanted to save up her money.
She worked very hard. Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
And she hates mowing lawn.
Yeah, she does. And it's Florida. It's very hot. And so that spirit of generosity was very beautiful to see in our daughter the other day.
And let me just say this for those of you who are listening. I know we have people that aren't Christians and you're not really interested in the whole Jesus thing, and that's fine. But I do want you to know how much he loves you.
Yes.
And that he was willing to give everything for you so that you could have spiritual life. And if you have any questions about that, you can always reach out to us. We'd love to have that conversation with you. But we need to reflect that generosity this time of year, and don't just make it all about you and, hey, the party's got to be perfect, the celebration's got to be perfect, the tradition's got to be perfect. No, our lives ought to be a display of the generosity of our Savior this time of year.
Mm-hmm. And that can look like a lot of different things. One of the things that we're making a priority, which we do every year, but I have to be honest with you guys, and I have to be honest with you, Thomas. I honestly thought, like, if I didn't do this, would it really matter? Can I skip it this year? Because we are busy, okay? It's not just a cliche, right? Like, oh, I'm so busy. Like, we're literally hour to hour is booked and planned. And I'm just like, what can I get out of is kind of how I started to look at things. And so I thought I could choose to skip baking cookies for our neighbors, because I have all the ingredients, like everything's bought. I've got the little pretty paper plates that I'm going to give them. They don't have to return. We've got Christmas cards ready for our neighbors. And I thought I could skip baking homemade cookies for our neighbors, and I could just not do that this year. But that doesn't go with our most important aspects of Christmas, because our most important aspects of Christmas are modeling Jesus, and his generosity is one of those things. Yeah. And we want to be generous to our neighbors. Now, we could just give them a Christmas card, and that's okay. It's okay to just give them Christmas cards. Yeah. But I want to be generous. I want to do more. And that's something that God's put on my heart to do. So I can't ignore that. I have to do it. So I'm going to make time to do that and be generous in that way to our neighbors. Okay. Let's think about this. There are times when not everybody is just having the merry, jolliest Christmas ever.
It is. It's a difficult and a sad season for a lot of people.
Yeah. And there was actually a family in Iowa who we love dearly, and they lost their mother this year, very, very recently. And so in their Christmas card, we wrote them a sympathy letter, essentially, and just saying, like, we know this Christmas will be one of the most difficult because you just lost your mother. We love you. We're praying for you. And there are some people who are going to feel lonely this year.
Well, and I think about our friend in Texas who lost his wife, and you know, him and his he's got small children. And so this time of year is very difficult for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. Right. And a lot of it has to do with just missing people, feeling alone, and all those sorts of things. Right.
And I'm sure that there are people out there who have lost special people, maybe dealing with divorce, maybe a broken relationship where you don't have that person in your life just because the relationship has been broken. And to that, we want to remind you of this aspect of who Jesus is. His name means God with us.
Emmanuel, yeah.
Emmanuel means God with us. And so if this is you and this is kind of where you're at this Christmas season, remember who Jesus is and that he wants to fill that void, that emptiness of those that you're missing, those that you have lost. He wants to comfort you and walk with you through it. And so lean into that, lean into him.
Well, and I think about this aspect of that as well. And that is, who can you invite into your circle?
Yes.
Who can you show them that, hey, God is with you, that I am with you, you are not alone. And so every year we have people who sit around our table this time of year, who they don't have any family around, they don't really have anybody around, and we want to invite you into our family. Yeah. We want you to know you're not alone. And so paying a little bit more of close attention to the people who are around you, who are hurting, who are sorrowful, who are alone. And you can say, you know what? Hey, we value these certain things. And one of our values is the people in our lives.
And when you do that, those friends become family.
Yeah.
It is like this beautiful relationship, and it's so awesome. This year, I'm really excited because around our dinner table is going to be our amazing best friend neighbors, Shelly and Danny. Shout out to Shelly and Danny.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop. Can I get a whoop, whoop?
Whoop, whoop.
Oh, you are the worst.
I don't really do whoop, whoop.
This is why you were never a cheerleader.
Yeah. I would not have been a good cheerleader.
You would have been the worst cheerleader. But we're excited to have them over because they are so special to us. They've become family to us, and they don't have family here in Florida. And so we just get to extend our own family and enjoy that. And so think about that in your own sphere. Who's around you that needs somewhere to go for Christmas and have a great time, and welcome them in. And it can be the beginning of a really beautiful relationship.
Well, and along with just spending time with them, we think about the things that Jesus did in his life, where he healed people, he gave food, he met people's needs. Mm-hmm. And that ought to be a big part of our Christmas season as well, is just helping those in need. Not just strangers, although we ought to be looking to meet people's needs wherever they are and whoever they are. But think about those in your home as well.
Okay.
And there's a lot you can do to help meet needs, to make loads a little bit lighter. You know, you see somebody's really busy in a certain area of their life. How can you pick up the slack and meet some of those needs, whether that's doing dishes, wrapping presents, cleaning up pine needles, all of those with
Christmas
the
tree.
real trees.
The fake trees leave pine needles too.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. So you can help get stuff out of storage.
That's what you're there for, baby. My muscle.
Being the muscle. Being the one on the arm at the Christmas work party. For all of us introverts, we need that person alongside of us, our emotional support person.
Mm-hmm. Buffer.
Yeah.
Gotta have the buffer.
Social support person. Maybe talking to that weird cousin. You got that weird relative, aunt or uncle or whoever it is. It's like, all right, I'm gonna bite the bullet for the team. I'm taking one for the team. But or just entertaining the bored 5-year-old so mom can cook. Like, yes, thinking about those who are in need that extended outward, but, with your own family as well.
Yeah, and it's funny how we leave our family behind. Like, we literally are like, we tell our kids, okay, we have to help those less fortunate. We have to help people in need. Like, we're going to go down here to the soup kitchen. We're going to go over here and wrap presents for needy. We're going to get someone's name off the angel tree and buy presents and wrap for them. And then when it comes to our own family in our own home, there are needs that we aren't meeting.
Yeah.
We overlook them because they're too close. It's like we can't see them because they're too close. Our viewpoint is a little too broad sometimes. And it's funny how either extreme can be negative.
Yeah.
If we don't ever help anyone in our community because we're only focused on the 6 of us. Or we only help everybody in the community and we ignore the 6 of us.
Yeah.
There has to be that balance and be thinking about both and how we can meet the needs of others. All right. This one is a tough one. I was just talking to somebody about this. Okay. In Jesus' crucifixion, when he was going to the cross, they took him to court. And false accusations were spoken about him. Now, that happened in court, when he was about to be crucified. It also happened in everyday situations.
Yeah.
The religious leaders were totally after him. I mean, they were constantly trying to trip him up, trap him. They were making false accusations about him. And specifically, the Bible talks about when he was in court there at the end of his life. The Bible says Jesus opened not his mouth. He remained silent. And this is something that we need to model in our lives sometimes, especially in those family moments. We need to have control over our mouths, hold our tongue. Because in family situations, there are so many times when we just want to be like, oh yeah, well, you, bop, 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 bop. We want to come back at people. We want to defend ourselves. Man, if it's about our kids, then watch out. You want to attack my children, I'm going to attack you, and I'm going to attack your children and your grandma. Like, we sometimes do not know how to hold our tongue. And when we get together with our big extended family, or even in our own little home, there are so many opportunities where we can mess everything up by the things we say.
And it's not just maybe something they're saying to us, but it may be they're politically at the other end of the spectrum.
Oh my, politics at Christmas.
And it's like, listen, you don't need to win a political argument at Christmas. Like, the family relationship's more important than that. So there's nothing wrong with being quiet while your crazy political relative goes on and on about this or that. Like, you don't have to win that. What's the value in winning that? You're not gonna do any good with that. Or maybe as far as religious views and whatever else, it's like they're so much different than you are. There's no reason you have to win a theological argument at the Christmas dinner table. Mm-hmm. Like, just be quiet. Just let them say what they're going to say. Like, it's not going to do any good to create this turmoil and tension and argument in that moment. And sometimes the best thing we can do is just say nothing at all.
That's right. And this is how Jesus was, and we need to model that. Now, I am the worst person about this because I'll be really quiet for a super long time, and then I hold it in, and all of a sudden it like comes out and I say something real stupid.
Yeah.
Because I hold it in too long. I need to, rather than just hold it in, rather than not talking, I need to give it to God. I need to work through it and not create and allow resentment to come in. All right, here's one that's tough. Jesus exemplified self-control in all areas of life.
Yeah.
And this is a character quality that we want present in our lives and in our children's lives. And this comes into play with, yes, eating, with drinking. Maybe your family drinks alcohol. There's got to be a self-control there, so that we do not violate what Jesus talked about, not being drunk. What about with gluttony? What about with shopping?
Yeah.
I said the S word.
That's huge this time of year.
Shopping.
It's like we spend. And if you don't have the money and you're spending it, it's like...
It's not right. It is not right to spend money you don't have. And Amazon makes it so easy because you don't even feel like you're spending money.
Yeah.
You're just pushing buttons and it arrives at the door. I was just at someone else's house yesterday and they said, I have Amazonnesia. And I was like, what? She goes, I ordered all that stuff, but I don't even know what it is. I can't remember. Amazonnesia.
That's funny.
But that can kind of happen because all of a sudden we've just clicked. We've gone out and we've swiped the card over and over. And so we need to have self-control in this area too, even if it means not getting everything that we wanted to get for everybody we wanted to get it for.
And we just think about this time. And there's a lot of things we could go on about. Mm-hmm. But, you got a lot going on, so we don't want to take up more of your time than we should. But you just think about how kind he was, how gentle. Think about every aspect of his life, and we want to try to portray that. You think about the fact that he left the 99 and went to find the one. He said, I've come to seek and to save that which was lost. And there really is no better time, I believe, than the Christmas season to share the point of Jesus coming. He came to bring salvation, spiritual salvation to the world. And we need to get involved in that. And you can do that in a lot of different ways. You can do that by making cookies for your neighbors and getting to know them a little bit. You can do that by inviting people to your Christmas Eve service, and so they can hear the message of the gospel and be saved. You can do that by having personal conversations with people about the reason for the season, that it's not about the presents and the tree and the parties and all the stuff. The point was Jesus came as a baby, God in the flesh, for the point of bringing salvation to the world. And so making sure that that's a part of our Christmas season as well. Let's not miss the opportunity that we have right now to share what we say is the most important thing to us. Mm-hmm. And that is the Savior of the world. And so let's share him with people. But in every interaction, in every tradition, in everything that we do, we ought to be reflecting the fact that Jesus is the most important thing to us. And so as you take some time to do this, you will have, I believe, the best Christmas ever. Mm-hmm. Because you'll be concentrating on what is truly most important this Christmas season. And so with the family meeting tonight, I want to encourage you just to spend some time as a family. Just ask this question and have each person kind of answer it, is what is some characteristic of Jesus that you notice in his life? And then, you'll have different people say and mention different things just like we have today. All right, well, how can we portray that this Christmas season?
In real practical ways.
What are some steps that we can take to show his love, his kindness, his generosity, his sacrifice, his salvation? Mm-hmm. And you see how the focus will shift away from us and onto him and onto others, which is truly what is most important.
Thanks for joining us today for this Christmas episode. Please go and subscribe to the Family Meeting podcast from your favorite podcast provider. And if you found this information helpful, please share this episode on social media and invite your friends and family to listen in with you.
To find more content and information Lysandra and I provide, you can go to our website, familymeeting.org, or email us at info@familymeeting.org. If you'd like to shoot us a text or call us, you can send a voice message at 904-257-3062.
And we want to invite you to join us for our next family meeting. This family meeting will be the last one of 2023.
It's crazy that we're already at the end of the year.
I can't believe it. I know. Okay, so for this family meeting, we want to kind of reflect on 2023, and we want to talk about uplifting your family and recognizing their accomplishments in 2023. I think this is going to be a fun episode. Encouragement is a great motivator, but it also will bring positivity into your home.
Yeah.
And what happens, I think, a lot of times is good things happen and maybe we mention it or we're like, hey, great job. And then we go on with our life. So what we want to encourage you to do with our next episode is look back over the whole year, starting in January, talk about the things and recognize the things that each family member has accomplished, maybe character qualities that they have improved on, achievements, goals met, and then talk about that, encourage one another, and motivate people in your family for 2024.
Thanks for joining us today for this family meeting. Have a great week, everybody. This meeting is adjourned.
Well, that is our first episode ever, doing it all the way through with antlers.
Yeah, one of your antlers is like coming off. Oh. I noticed it partway through.
Oh, my poor little antler.
Yeah.
I paid a whole $1 for this. I expect it to last longer than 3 years.
One of your antlers is shedding.
Yeah. Well, guys, I hope that you have been kind of contemplating about what is important to you at Christmas. I think that you'll really enjoy having this family meeting to talk about what is really important to each other and how Jesus lived and implementing that into your family Christmas. Let us know if there's something that we didn't mention that is important to you or an aspect of Jesus that you are trying to exemplify this year. Put it in the comments. We want to hear from you as well.
All right. Y'all have a Merry Christmas.
Bye.